Hey everybody, it's Friday evening and it's actually getting kind of late. I've had a busy day and I've not even been down into the fish room yet. So today's video is going to be a look at my office tank. I'm going to try to get in here and do a water change tonight. I don't even know if I'm going to have time to do that. At the very least, I need to get in there and top it off a little bit. You can see how low the water is. We're getting a little bit of a trickle flowing over there. In fact, if we come over and look a little more closely, you'll see that some of the water is backflowing, but not much. It just doesn't have a lot flowing through there right now. And that is probably because this filter intake has white water mold that grows in there. And over time, it tends to sort of gum it up and clog it up. So tonight, or whenever I get around to doing it, if it won't be tonight, it'll be tomorrow morning. I'll get in there and I'll clean out that filter intake, and that'll get the water flowing nice and fast again, and we'll get a little more circulation going on in the tank. So I recently had my German blue ram die in this tank, and because it was a tank that had a German blue ram in it, I had the temperature set way up, and I lost a lot of water due to evaporation. All of the neons I had in here eventually died off, and I assumed it had to do with the really warm water. Neons don't do real well in that warm water like that. And I am still dealing with a lot of snails in here. I've cut back on feeding, but I really probably need to do something about the snails at some point. They're getting a little out of control, even by my rather loose standards. I'm working on bringing the temperature down. I'm so used to seeing that back there at upwards of 30 degrees that even cutting it back to 26 seemed like I was really cooling the tank down. But I think I'm actually going to knock that back to 24, which will, if I'm not mistaken, put me right around in the mid 70s, which is fine. Just a little slightly warmer than room temperature in here is good for all the type of fish I have in here. So I've got the 4 diamond tetras, and they're doing really well. They're growing fast. They're looking good. They're starting to show color. I'm really kind of interested to see the sort of blues and greens that are developing in them. Now, again, the other diamond tetras I have downstairs are under a much lower quality light. Not necessarily not as bright. It's very bright light. It's just not a full spectrum light like what we have on this tank. This tank actually is very, very close to natural sunlight. So all those beautiful sparkling colors that are in those diamond tetras really should pop in this tank. And again, I'm already beginning to see like greens and blues in there that I've not seen on the fish downstairs. So I'm really, really excited to see these grow up and fill in and look good. But if I bring the temperature down, once the world starts spinning again, I can maybe go out at some point in the future and get some neons to go in this tank. I think neons would look great in here with those diamond tetras. But the main thing I'm thinking about with this tank that I don't really know what I want to do yet is all of that Hygrophila you can see there. That's all temple weed, or a temple plant. I'm getting all my names here confused. It's a temple plant, or swamp weed is another common name for it. And it grows really big. It grows really fast. If you're a regular viewer of mine, you'll know not too long ago that was actually one single upright plant that was quite branchy and bushy. I cut it back a few times, and eventually it got so top heavy that it fell over. And what this is a branch from there that grew all the way down and around and is now coming up here. I've got new root growth coming off of it. So I can actually cut this right here, and boom, I've got a whole new plant that's already centered in the tank. I can reposition where it is. You can see it's got a, if I cut it right here, I'd have this whole sort of flat section that's already got roots developed. I could put that over there, reestablish it down in the gravel, put some larger rocks on it, and I would have an upright plant growing up and out of the tank, and it would be, look more like a small tree coming up out of the center of the tank like I had it before, which I liked. This is looking a little messy, but at the same time, I don't mind that. It looks very natural to me. Again, I used to spend a lot of time out by rivers and streams and stuff like that in the great outdoors, and it seldom looks like anybody came along and deliberately planted things in very specific places. And it doesn't look like what you would think of as a neatly manicured garden. It looks natural. It looks wild. And so that kind of look doesn't really bother me at all. And in fact, that's where I'm sort of on the fence with this tank. I really kind of like that look in there. I really like watching the way those diamond tetras swim around in there. I would imagine if that was going to, if you were going to try to set up a tank to emulate the natural habitat of these diamond tetras, I can't think of a better way of doing it than having, a branchy root system like that set up. That's probably very close to what they would swim around in their natural habitat. So if I bring the water temperature down, I've got very soft water. I checked the pH in this tank last time. Just somebody had mentioned pH or something, so I checked it. It was 6.9. So I am still, or at least I was then, slightly in the acidic range. It might have gone up a little by then. Usually what happens, though, is the pH in a tank will fall over time. It doesn't get higher over time. Now, if you've got, you're starting with soft water and you've got crushed coral, or limestone or Texas Holy Rock or something in there as your substrate and ornamentation, then yeah, your slightly acidic water over time, that pH will go up as the water absorbs more of the calcium and more of that, limestone dissolves into the water. Your pH will gradually raise. But typically, people that don't have anything that's going to be adding buffer or adding, hardness to the water, your pH is going to drop slowly over time. If for no other reason, then nitrates will actually lower your pH. Nitrates are acidic, and over time, as your nitrates increase, your pH will decrease. So if I was at 6.9 the other day, it's probably a little lower than that. In fact, I got my pH meter sitting right here. Let's have a look and see what it actually says. Give it a moment or two to stabilize. So we're still falling. 6.87, 6.9, somewhere in that area. If you wiggle it around, it'll fluctuate a little bit. But I'm still sitting right around 6.8, 6.9, somewhere in there. So slightly acidic water, mid-70s. Not crazy, overly brightly lit, but nice and sunny. And plenty of roots and branches and places to swim through and things to hide under. And I think that's just about the perfect habitat to raise some diamond tetras. In fact, I'm hoping as these get older, I might actually start seeing these do some spawning behavior in here. And in a tank with limited predation, I've only got those guppies in here. I don't think I'm going to have too much to worry about. I might actually get some of the babies to survive in here, unless, of course, the diamond tetras themselves, I could see them being an issue as far as eating up any eggs or anything like that got laid in there. So anyway, that's just a look at what I got going on in my office tank, and my big conundrum is whether or not to clean out all of that Hygrophila and open the tank back up and reestablish it with just sort of this one, tree-like growth in there, or do I leave it looking like that, which we will call the au naturel look. And again, I like it. I think that looks pretty cool. I like watching the fish swim around in there. So I think for now, at least definitely for tonight, I know I'm not up for doing all that tonight. But I did want to throw that out there before I did make any final decision and get in there, ripping everything out and changing it all around. I always like to hear other people's opinions, get a feel for what other people think. Doesn't necessarily change anything I'm going to do, but I do like to hear what other people think. And then, so, I don't know, I can judge people's reactions after I do it or whatever. I don't know. I just like hearing people's opinions about what my plans coming up are. So there you go. Make sure you go down below. And don't forget, I also sell all this stuff, too, all these plants that come out of here. I do have some temple plant downstairs. It's not quite in this kind of condition. It probably looks a little closer than this. But I can cut some snips of that and root it and get that established and whatnot if anybody's interested in any temple plants. Plus, I always have Java Fern and Water Sprite and stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, check out my email down below. Contact me, and we can make arrangements and get that taken care of. In the meantime, I'm going to say thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. And don't forget, of course, this one is my 20-gallon open-topped office tank. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you real soon in the next one.